I struggled for so many years thinking I was actually stupid, that I was a nobody, that I was dumb. Because I struggled with an addictive behavior, it allowed me to reanalyze other aspects of my life. Porn to prosperity. What I learned from jacking off years ago in high school. In late May, I remember right before the summer, I was in health class. It was real sticky in that health class. And we had a speaker come in talking about in-depth sex ed. Now, she was going on about how it's normal to jack off and watch porn. So me being me, of course, I asked the guys around me. Now, they were all making A's in the class. And I asked this one guy right beside me, I said, how many times are you jacking off per day? He said, 1 to 2 times per day. I said, okay, all right. I asked another guy right behind me, and he's about 4 times. I said, all right, shit, man, overachiever, dude. Look at you. And the last guy that was in front of me, he said about 2 times per day. And then it hit me. I realized that's the reason why I keep getting D's and F's in this class. I'm not masturbating enough. See, years later, many, many years later, when I was married, a few days after Christmas one year, my wife at the time, she caught me. It was so humiliating. She opened up the laundry room, and there I was. She caught me doing something I shouldn't have been doing. And she was totally shocked, speechless, and right away withdrew. And the feeling of just shame, guilt, anxiety, anger enslaved me. And I felt like thousands upon thousands upon thousands of pounds just weighing me down, not because of her, but because I was ashamed of my own actions. And then she caught me. She caught me in the act. Now that day began the journey, a very, very, very long journey of unpacking lies, deceit, and addictive behavior and porn addiction. Now I cannot create this video and say that was the day that I went cold turkey and never looked at porn addiction behavior ever again. Or that I went to therapy and got healed and unpacked my story. Because it's just not true. However, though, during this journey, I started to analyze my patterns, my habits, my limiting beliefs, my identity of who I am. During this time is when my dad also shared these incredible 7 processes to me that helped me with the right perspective on how to look at this addictive behavior, this porn addiction, and integrate the right process in my life that has helped facilitate growth in every avenue of my life. Now, today I would like to share the first 3 with you, the foundational pieces. Now, what I realize is just like going to school, you have to focus on the right thing at the right time in the right sequence. So you can't focus on pre-calculus without learning the basics of math. Otherwise, it doesn't work. It doesn't make any sense. It's the same with these 3 foundational processes. Now, these 3 words or processes that I'm about to share with you, you've heard before. It's nothing new. However, though, what I'm about to reveal to you is the map to know if you're on the right track or not. Now, first process out of the 3 is humility. Like I mentioned, we have all heard this word thrown around 1,000 times. Though what I realized that with all the books, the articles, and content out there, no one has revealed to me the patterns to know if I'm doing it right or not. Because each person perceives humility in their own way according to their current beliefs in place and experiences in life. So let me share with you a story. When she caught me in the laundry room, that was the most humiliating thing I have ever experienced. Though at the time, I didn't realize that was the best gift I could have been given. So after I got caught, I took a shower. And as I was taking a shower, I was just shamed and angry and frustrated. But I knew I had a choice. I could justify or blame, like I've done so many times before, or take ownership and humble myself and say, I'm sorry. I chose to do the latter, and she was still angry at me. But it was the start of humility. Now, I'm going to share with you evidence of doing this wrong, and my goal with this is to help you identify and clarify in your own life so you can solve it and ensure you are on the right path. My goal is not to create this video and point a finger and evoke shame or guilt in your life. Now, evidence of doing this wrong is I will blame others or society for my problems. I will justify or give excuses for my wrongdoings. I will judge others. I will manipulate people to meet my desires and needs. I will intimidate others who disagree with me. I will be defensive when admonished. I will embrace pride and arrogance. Evidence of doing this right, I choose to forgive when someone hurts me, which we're going to be talking about later. I choose to say I am sorry when I hurt someone. I choose to receive forgiveness. I choose to be teachable. I choose to disown pride and arrogance. I will be gracious. I will be kind. I will forgive wrongs and hurts. I will receive compliments and say, thank you. Now the juicy stuff. Second process is identity. Life will bring circumstances to bear that cause you to question who the hell you are, more often than not. Many people I've talked with integrate their identity consciously or unconsciously into performance, to their status, their relationships, their looks, their heritage, their cultural identity, and so much others. When I was struggling with this addictive behavior, we were known for saying something very similar to Alcoholics Anonymous. Hi, my name is Christian, and I am addicted to blank. What I realized very quickly is that I was programming myself, though, to believe that was my identity. That was who I was. And it wasn't. Sure, I struggle with porn and addictive behaviors, but that addiction does not define me. I use this sentence to remove my identity from many struggles that I had. Sure, I struggle with anxiety, but anxiety does not define me. Sure, I struggle with perfectionism, but perfectionism does not define me. So because I struggle with addictive behavior, it allowed me to become aware of these patterns of identity in other areas of my life. For example, I was an inclusion kid in high school, which means I had an IEP, and I took special classes. I struggled with learning. I remember my study hall teacher at the time said, Christian, you are not as smart as you think you are. You need help in these classes. Though I interpret it as, you are dumb, you are stupid, and you won't amount to anything in life. And I realize now that I misinterpreted that experience in my life. See, I put meaning to something that was not even there. In context, that study hall teacher never said those words. See, I was so arrogant, prideful, and insecure in high school that I didn't want help in a class that I actually needed help in. I lacked humility. Process one. And this is the serendipity of life. See, I struggled for so many years thinking I was actually stupid, that I was a nobody, that I was dumb. Because I struggled with an addictive behavior, it allowed me to reanalyze other aspects of my life, giving me the opportunity to unpack, reframe that misinterpretation of that experience, and free myself from that identity that was enslaving me for so long. So the question I have for you is, what misinterpretation of an experience in your life is holding your identity hostage? Evidence of doing this wrong, showing insecurity, lack of confidence, blame others' life culture, defensive when someone corrects you. Evidence of the process doing this right, I will be at peace with myself. I will be content with my body, looks, job, gifts, talents, not complacent. I will have confidence. I will be able to laugh at myself. Now, the third process is trust. Now, this process is conflicting in nature, and I actually find this very interesting because we are supposed to trust people, our colleagues, our spouses, our kids, but also anticipate that they would intentionally or unintentionally destroy that trust by lying, stealing, cheating. See, we hear things like be vulnerable and authentic in today's culture, and that's awesome. But it's like pouring out my heart for the world to see. Here it is. Yes, you will get the most out of people. You are authentic. You show up. You're vulnerable. You are free. But also, let's cut to the chase. There are some people that will come around and stab the shit out of your heart and hurt you and cause you a lot of fucking pain, which causes you to be less vulnerable next time or less authentic next time. Yes or no? Though this is where trust is key. See, you trust regardless of the outcome. You show up regardless of the scoreboard. You submit to the first few processes I share regardless of the result. Let me explain. During my recovery, I remember a time when I had to go to my family and share this struggle and addiction that I had. Now, this was testing my trust more than anything. I mean, fear, anxiety rippled throughout me. I mean, to be totally vulnerable and authentic and share with them my deepest failures? No way. Hell no. But I had to trust them. I had to trust this process, and I had to trust myself. And to be quite frank, it was horrible. Though most of them loved me regardless and proud of me for sharing the things that I shared with them. However, a few family members said some horrible things. They hurt me. They stabbed me in the heart, disappointed in me, angry at me. But regardless of the outcome, I had to trust in the process. And it was the most freeing experience in the world. Evidence of doing this wrong. I will be angry for circumstances I am in or people I'm having to deal with. I will be impatient at life. I will be quick to judge. I will seek to manipulate people to meet my needs. I will give excuses for my selfish behavior. Evidence of doing this process right. I will submit to the process. I will be joyous. I'll be content in difficult situations. I will be patient with people. Now, we talked about a lot today, and I want to sum this up in actionable steps to implement. Where the hell do we start? Let me share with you another story. Like I mentioned before, I didn't just go cold turkey from this addictive behavior or go to the therapist and unpack my story and get healing. Because humility, the first process, is something I have struggled with for many, many years and still struggle with it. It is like riding a bicycle. And I felt like I was doing that pretty good for 2 weeks. Okay, I'm feeling humble. 2 months. Okay, I got this. 2 years. All right. Okay, 5 years, 7 years. Then pride and arrogance sneak up and show its ugly face, and I would crash. I mean hardcore. I'm talking totally freaking wipe out. So I got very comfortable with saying these 3 words. The most powerful words anyone can say regardless of the outcome. I am sorry. Mom, Dad, I'm sorry for disrespecting you. I am sorry for lying to you, spouse, partner. I am sorry for raising my voice at you, daughter, son. And I had to have the right expectation during this phase. See, I didn't expect them to forgive me or respond in the way that I wanted them to. I had to anticipate anger, frustration, annoyance. But this is the start of process 1. Humility. And friends, it's because of the struggles that I had with addiction, addictive behavior toward pornography, analyzing my patterns, beliefs, and implementing these 7 processes that has led me to growth in all aspects of my life. And I want to leave with you a saying that I've coined at the ending of my talks, in my other podcast interviews, and it goes like this: be uncommon if you can. Because in our uniqueness and struggles gives birth to our greatness. Thank you.